Southern Baptist Coalition, the SBC, one of the biggest affiliations. They're not a denomination. They'll have you know that. They're an affiliation. Endorses effort to overturn Skittles' marriage. If you guys didn't know, we use that word strategically. Reporting from the Southern Baptist Convention in Dallas, the Southern Baptist Convention voted overwhelmingly on Tuesday to call for the overturning of the Supreme Court ruling that legalized LGBT marriage, with strategists citing the successful effort that overturned the right to legal baby deletions as a possible blueprint for the new. Wait, what? Why are they acting like they? I'm confused. They're calling. They're acting like they're calling on the Supreme Court to do it.
Yeah.
Is this like, are they earmarking resources?
Southern Baptist Convention voted overwhelmingly on Tuesday to call for the overturning of Supreme Court ruling that legalized same-sex marriage.
Yeah.
With strategists citing the successful effort. Yeah, so they're just saying, well, they did do we did do Roe v. Wade. Now it's the G's, and then next it's gonna be the interracial marriage.
That's the theory. Right? The denomination has long opposed it, but Tuesday was the first time its members have voted to work legally to end it. Why are they acting like they can just end it? I am so confused by this article. What does this mean? Like, this is the New York Times. This feels like fear-mongering. Okay, what are they going to do?
Yeah,
are they going to elect a coalition of lawyers to take legal action and put together a case? Like, what does any of this mean?
Are they going to stand on a street corner with a couple signs?
Right. What is this even saying? Expanding on conservative success overturning Roe v. Wade, the vote signals on growing evangelical ambitions to overturn. Okay. The Supreme Court ruling that was handed down 10 years ago this month. Okay. What we were trying to do is keep the conversation alive, said Andrew Walker, an ethicist in Southern Baptist Seminary in Kentucky who wrote the resolution. Mr. Walker leads the Southern Baptist Committee that gathers proposals from Baptists around the country to be debated and put to a vote. Meaning Baptists, he said, are taking the long view, inspired by the tactic of the anti-baby deletion movement. Roe v. Wade granted a constitutional right to baby deletion that stood for nearly 50 years before activists and legal strategists defeated it, powered by support from Christian conservatives. The Baptist vote against Obergefell took place at the end of the first day of the. Now, I'm still so confused. These people vote about everything.
Yeah.
What do we? Why is this national news?
That's really funny.
A bunch of Baptists had a vote
about a long-held Orthodox Christian position
that we all know Christians are like. We all know we're against this.
Yeah, no Christian denomination is going to hold a vote and be like, yeah, let's keep it.
Yeah, the Baptist vote against Obergefell took place at the end of the first day, which is being held this year. Drawing thousands of pastors and church members from large and small congregations across the country. The meeting is being closely watched as a snapshot of evangelical sentiment on a range of political, theological, and cultural issues. The major opposing LGBT marriage was a part of a sweeping and unusual long resolution under the title on restoring moral clarity through God's design for gender, marriage, and family. It includes calls for defunding Planned Parenthood, which we should do, by the way, safety and fairness in female athletic competition, which, by the way, we should have, a reference to the debate over transformer women in sports. Ruth Graham is a national reporter based in Dallas covering religious faith and values for The Times. A version of this article appears in June 2016.
That's it. This is the citing.
Okay. So they're acting like these people have the ability to present this unilaterally to the Supreme Court.
Yeah. Because it's the Southern Baptist Convention, we all know that they got
the Supreme Court on speed dial.
Yeah. They have more rights to the land than the rest of the nation.
Did they not understand that to do this is going to take years and years of legal litigation? If they even have the means to put together the teams of lawyers to make these cases, you got to work this up to the Supreme Court. I think you got to work this up to the Supreme Court. I don't think you just pull up and just like, we're going to bring this to the docket Supreme Court and you're going to listen to us because we're the SBC Southern Baptist.
They act like that Roe v. Wade got overturned because the SBC voted on it.
You know what the funny thing about the Roe v. Wade got overturned because there was a heartbeat. I want to say a 15-week ban in Mississippi. It was either a 15-week ban or a heartbeat ban that they tried to overturn, and that's what backfired.
Yeah,
and then that's what set it up the circuit courts and got it to the Supreme Court.
And like, wait, we should leave this all up to the states.
Right. So that's how that happened.
It was more legal than it was religious.
Well, I mean, religious people definitely advocated for it, but it was the pro-choicers that played themselves because they were trying to push harder and harder and make it less and less restrictive. So this in my opinion, would take years to get up all the way to the Supreme Court for it to be considered as a thing. You got anything in this Fox article that's interesting?
CNN. No, it's just the same positioning, which is like, oh my goodness, Christians voted for Christian orthodoxy.
Christians doing what Christians have always done. Oh my goodness, what are we gonna do? Southern Baptists overwhelmingly call for ban.
This is the SBC in Trump's America. It's like, this is just the SBC.
And you know what the hilarious part about the SBC is? They're always getting dragged for being too liberal.
100%. I think last year we covered the didn't they vote on women pastors and Rick Warren pulled up and
they voted against it and Rick Warren pulled up and it was a whole thing. Yes, there's also the same affiliation that refuses to fully affirm the Nicene Creed because at the end it sounds like there's a one baptism in the one Holy Apostolic Church for the forgiveness of sins, and they feel like that's too close to baptismal regeneration, and so they're like, "Nah, we're not going to affirm the Nicene Creed." The Baptists don't want to affirm the Nicene Creed. Like, so yeah, I mean, listen, they're powerful for sure. SBC is a massive denomination, but to act like this is surprising or shocking or national news seems like fear-mongering from the left. Look at those scary Christians over there. They now have political power. Trump, orange man bad.
Yeah.
They're going to take your rights away. Which, listen.
He might.
They might. This might get worked up. And it could. I don't know if the current Supreme Court would do it.
Yeah.
I don't know if the current Supreme Court would do it. But, I mean, welcome to America. Like, this is how this stuff works.
Welcome to democracy, baby.
It's conservative presidents and politicians will put conservative judges in the Supreme Court, and liberals will put liberal judges in the Supreme Court, and then that Supreme Court can make these sorts of decisions, right? So if anything, this will be, I would guess, similar to Roe v. Wade, where it'll get overturned to the states. So then if you want to go and do this, you can go to states that let you do it, and if you don't want to go to do it, you can't do it. I think it's that's what it's going to be. I think this is.
Would states recognize someone that got married in another state?
I think they would have to for tax purposes, right?
Yeah, they would have to, right?
Yeah, I think they have to for tax purposes.
Married filing jointly federally, but not.
Yeah, Matthew in the chat said, no, I don't think any Supreme Court would ever do it. I don't
think
know.
So either.
I mean, if Trump happens to get one more pick and he elects someone even more conservative, it's possible, right? So we'll see. I want you guys to know, OccupiedTill.com, 60-day devotional on sale. 35 days in the Old Testament, 25 days in the New Testament. This is where we actually transition into the New Testament, day 36. And what's cool about this is we have a reading that you go through. There's a verse here that kind of summarizes the reading, and then there is a additional chapter of reading with custom journal prompts at the end of each reading. So there's also a section for prayer requests. I always recommend you keep track of your prayers.